Hey Bits and Bytes! It's time for another Q&A thing. This is the first one going on directly to YouTube. So basically, patrons ask questions, I answer them. I don't think it's that hard. Not too many questions this month, but I'll, flesh it out with my penchant for blathering on. Okay, first question comes from Clayton. The question is, I'm sure you've been asked this before, but what inspired you to be an artist? That's what he sounds like, I bet. It really depends on the context. If he means, like, the comic, man, I guess the first manga I ever read was Love Hina. And let's see, the first comic, I think I read, like, one of the, I had a few of those old Sonic the Hedgehog, like, Archie comics, and then I had some Mario comics. I wish I hadn't lost them. I can't remember what they were, I can't remember the name of the series, but there were maybe 4 or 5 in the series. On the back, there was always like a WWE ad. It was like, they were about yay thick, about yay big, and it was like a full story. It was like Mario and Tatanga, from Super Mario Land. He like came out of the Game Boy and he enslaved this human who hated his job at what was basically a GameStop back in the day. That was awesome. But yeah, the first comic I ever read that really made me be like, I could probably do this, because I'd always entertained the idea of doing comics when I was like 5, but yeah, Love Hina, and then webcomics, Brawl in the Family. I was like, hey, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it. Current inspirations artistically, like just as an art form, Art Spiegelman. If you look up his stuff, it's typically kind of not safe for work, but he's credited with in big part popularizing the expressionistic style in comics, and at least in America, doing something other than just superhero comics, where it's just like a very specific clean style where it's always full body frame shot superhero punch and stuff. Like he made the graphic novel Mouse, which was really I really want it. I haven't gotten it yet, but I've studied him, and I don't know, I like his style. So that's kind of my inspiration right now. And now we have a few questions from Wolfie. Wolfie says, a few questions, I guess. What programs do you use to record? Unless it's a trade secret. He kind of sounds like that, actually. I know what his voice is. His voice is like mine, except way better. The programs. No, I don't have a problem with sharing that. I mean, that's, like I've said before, that bugs me. When you ask a question of a content creator and they don't reply, it's like, what are they hiding? What's the point? You're gonna find out. All they're doing is shaving off an hour or so of your life. But the programs I use are Fraps. That works for computer, just straight on computer stuff. Consoles and a Blackmagic Intensity Pro. It's just like a snap-in PCIe PC. It's a snap-in card for my computer. So I use that. And then I use Audacity to record the audio, and then my voice audio, and then I sync them up, to make I record them separately so that way I can balance out the game audio with my spoken audio. It's especially helpful in horror games, which are known for things where you want to hear the little things. So I gotta constantly edit the game audio and all that kind of stuff. But that's about it. What's your preferred genre of game? Oh, that changes a lot. Lately it's kind of roguelikes, just because I don't have that much time to game by myself. So really quick games, where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play Nuclear Throne or Binding of Isaac, and I do 6 runs, and I'm like, oh man, it must be 4 hours later now, and I look and it's been 20 minutes because I kind of suck. But yeah, right now if there were a slow burning fuel of game that I liked, something over The Sims, long term something I can kind of fall back to, if you're asking that. God, I don't even know that anymore. Maybe RPGs, maybe platformers. I don't know. I don't think I've ever played 2 games in a row of the same genre. After I play one game of a genre, I'm typically I want to play something different. See, after an RPG, I'll do something like platforming or a shooter game or whatever. So, yeah, that's a hard question to answer. Yeah, it's between RPGs and roguelikes. I know that's very different as far as timing goes, but that's about it. That's pretty much what it is. That's what it sizes up to. If I have more time, I like to play an RPG, but I don't have that much time lately. What is the most difficult game you've played in terms of mechanical difficulty and god dang it difficulty? Ooh, okay, so this is a 2-parter. Mechanical difficulty, the most difficult game I've played. Probably Dark Souls. I only played that game for like 40 minutes, so sit next to Lily, and I kept getting killed by skeletons in a graveyard before I could even really get anywhere, and I was like, there's something about this game I'm not seeing, that I'm missing. I started to piece together that you're supposed to use certain weapons to kill certain enemies, and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, just, it wasn't my cup of tea. Other really difficult mechanically, man, I guess, maybe Nuclear Throne, I don't know, that game's really hard, but it's in a fun way. Guide dang it difficulty, back when I first played Earthbound, you know, when you rent or buy Earthbound, it would come with a guide, a thick guide, because Nintendo just kind of figured that Americans were just too lazy, they wouldn't spend the time doing it, because I'm pretty sure they didn't release a guide with the Japanese release. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. But yeah, my mom and I played it when we rented it from Blockbuster a long time ago, and we rented that for like weeks. It was so late we couldn't go to Blockbuster anymore. Like that. I don't know why. I guess maybe they didn't have a limit on like how much late fees could rack up or something like that. But yeah, we didn't go to Blockbuster after that. I mean, we returned it, but you know. So yeah, we had to use a guide for that. Funny thing, because now I started playing Earthbound a couple months ago, and I didn't need the guide at all. I mean, and it's definitely been long enough, and the game is so long, it wasn't that I remembered anything. It wasn't that I knew where to go. Like, I still got lost and stuff. It's just, I wasn't like, yeah, just, you know, it's not that hard. Just walk around the town, talk to people, check stuff. Like, I remember the hardest thing to find, or at least I remember my mom complaining about it a lot, was finding the contact lens in the desert. The thing is so easy to find. Like, I don't know, I guess, yeah, we were all so lazy back then, I don't know. But then again, I guess if you're just like, here's a game, here's a guide, because you're gonna need it, you just take their word for it, I guess, I don't know. But, guide dang it. Majora's Mask, though, that one too. I have my poor friend, back in elementary, I'd have to call him. I would call him on the weekends, like every 20 minutes, being like, oh, what do I do? I don't know. Do you know what to do at this part? And he'd be like, and he'd shuffle around and get out his guide and be like, it says you gotta do that. Like, I forced that poor kid into tech support. It was a bad friend. Okay, that's all the questions for this month. As always, if you go over to the Patreon page and sign up, you can ask questions, you can see the comic a day early, you can play video games with me. I'm always adding perks and things to that, so, you know, support us, my family and I, so we can keep doing this stuff and keep making things. It really helps us out. It really does. So thanks, patrons. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And until next Q&A, see you then.